I haven't handed a resume in for 30 years. And no, that can't be right. 25 years. Anyway, so I'm going to, do people even still do it, by the way?
Yeah. Oh,
Someone's going
yeah.
to get
Big
mad at
time.
me.
Big
Oh,
time.
do they? Okay. I'm sure someone can get mad at me in the comments for being like so out of touch that I don't know. I'm sure that signals something about me that I actually probably don't want to signal. And I'm not going to cut it out because, you learn from your mistakes. But I actually do. There's like a part of me that's like, man, maybe we should cut that part out. Am I like just a, okay. Anyway, doesn't matter.
Doug, every morning I get a message from my Claude that is like, "Hey Jack, you're an idiot. You didn't do these things." I actually try to make it be meaner to me. It's like so nice. It's like it's too syrupy nice, but it runs through all my Slack, all my Gmail, and it tells me all the stuff that I'm dropping the ball on. And it's really helpful for me because I feel like this time of year in particular, I spend all day context switching from helping a mom fill out her forms to a what color should the pickleball courts be to we just moved the staff lounge. Should we keep the foosball table and the pool table even though they're in bad shape and they don't actually quite fit, or should we throw them out? And I'm like, how many tie-dye shirts do we need? And it's like some of this stuff is like, I know I need to get off my plate. And if you're like me, it's like, where do I put it? What plate do I put it on? And anyway, every morning my Claude tries to tell me what the most important stuff is, and it's pretty good. It's pretty good. What are you doing on morning on daily briefs with your AI?
Well, we talked about this. We talked about we're going to go back through Substack and things we've written, and that's kind of to be the basis for a lot of this show. And one thing we posted last week was like Jack's exact prompt for making this daily brief, because I hear this from camp people all the time now. It's like you're overwhelmed. And this is going to sound like so canned, what I'm about to say. It's like, are you feeling overwhelmed? Are you feeling there's too much on the plate? And that's not, that's not disorganization. That's actually too many things to do. I'm writing that like an AI guy would actually write this. Now, context is a total killer. And by the way, I was reaching for this because if you want a great read, by the way, this is just the book jacket because the actual book is in my backpack. Jack, you have it. I've been actually telling everybody about this. Inside the Box by David Epstein. If you're just listening to this, yeah, it's great. It's a must read, but he talks about how context switching is just a complete killer on productivity and creativity among other things. But the daily brief, I've talked to at least 5 different camp pros, like owners or execs on this issue. And every one of them has come back and said, yes, like let's do this, because you have to have this daily, you have enough context in your life to be able to do this. Emails, Slack channels, text messages, whatever it is, this running list, creating the actual bucket to put it all, and then the mechanism to spit it back out is like the first thing ever. We talked last week about context. Like this would be the first thing that everyone should just put together for themselves. And you actually don't even need a prompt to do it. It's like, I mean, you have the prompt, you can go over to Substack and get the prompt, but something that wakes you up every day and says, hey, these are the 10 things that you just have to do. And you can just teach Claude to do that actually relatively quickly. And I found after context, like this is actually one of the best places to start because you feel like you're actually, like when you do your thing, you actually feel like you're doing something, right? Like this is the problem for people.
Well, and I'm old school. I'm old school. So
Same.
I haven't run this daily brief, and it gives me some stuff. And like, let's not kid ourselves about AI. Sometimes it makes things up. Sometimes it's not perfect. Whatever. And then I just write it on a little post-it note. These are the 4 things that I got to get done right now. And then I start the day off from a post-it note because I love AI. I love that it's like helping me do all this stuff, and I just got to write it down. I'm old school. I like analog. I think like the next whatever number of years is going to be figuring out what is going to be digital and what is going to be analog for me, and getting as many things as I hate off my plate into digital land, and some analog stuff holding on to that I just like to write something down, and it feels good for me.
Yeah, my daily brief looks different than yours because I'm not running a camp, thank God. But like the that's just, big
Thank
ups to
God for everyone, by the
actually
way.
so that I'm not running a camp. Yeah, probably right. I'll just be like sort of like a dictator slash. I kind of did this for a little bit. It was like a half of a mix. It was like medium ish, but much better at this part of it. But mine looks a little different, but it tracks the same way. I wake up every day. It's like, hey, what calls did you have yesterday? Great. Like, what do we need to do from those calls? Here are the deliverables that need to go from each of those calls. All right, what's on tap for today? Here are the calls that you have today. By the way, with those calls, what should I remember from last time we talked? Right? Oh, I have a call with Jack scheduled today. Great. Awesome. We're all super excited to talk to Jack. It would be also very helpful because we talk all the time. It's like to know where we landed with the last call to see what we like what progress we made. But I just have that do that for everybody. It's I'm talking to I don't want to say the names of everybody here, but like I talked to someone today that I hadn't talked to in a week. I don't remember exactly what we talked about last time. That's fine. My Claude can look and say, "Hey, I'm talking to him today. What did we talk about last time? What should I follow up with? Are we good to go?" Right? And that's like a pretty easy prompt to write. Like that is a pretty and I was talking to an executive director about this the other day, and who runs an amazing camp. And she just like that piece of advice was worth I'm not honestly like a lot of money because she was like, "Oh my god, this was such a roadblock for me. This is like such a bottleneck each morning waking up with all these things. Everyone's is going to look a little different, but you have to have this in place. Like this is why Al Gore created the internet so that we all could get AI. Like this like
This is where
this
the
is exactly
tubes
it.
are connecting to make sure that my little
Al
post-it
Gore
note-
Al Gore didn't work day and night to create the internet so that we could just not do this. Because the awesome claim that he invented it. But like, yeah, it's like this is such a no-brainer for me.
and we're gonna all right, but one more thing, Doug, you're doing for me right now that like I feel like super appreciative of, but really it's like you just took 10 seconds in AI to do it, and I should have just done it myself. Is like our website was full of us, we, uh, our camp, whatever, and you were like, you said something to me that was like, get rid of the we's, make it about them. Like all you're doing is like the old Chase from Fizzle used to go around going, don't make all your marketing me, you know. And that's what our website looks like. I can't lie, that's what our website looks like. It's like, hey, look at us, look at how great we are, as opposed to who are you and how do we make your life better.
Yeah, so this was the other thing that came out of another call that actually wasn't K&E. K&E was like pretty cleaned up on this early on ish, right? Like, and it was we did another pass on it because it made sense to look. I was doing a call with a camp the other day, and the website looked awesome, by the way. But what the trap is easy to fall into when you're writing about your thing is you just want to say, I do this, because you want the website to look like a resume, right? Like you want because people think the website's a resume. It's like, this is the resume of all the cool stuff we did. It's like, I'm handing you over my camp resume, and on a resume, if I haven't turned in a resume. When was the last time you made a resume, by the way? Yeah.
College. I haven't had a
was
real
gonna say,
job. I haven't had a real job since college.
I haven't handed a resume in for 30 years. And no, that can't be right. 25 years. Anyway, so I'm going to. Do people even still do it? By the way,
Yeah.
Someone's
Yeah.
gonna get
Big
mad
time.
at me.
Big time.
Oh, do they? Okay, someone's gonna get. I'm sure someone can get mad at me in the comments for being like so out of touch that I don't know. I'm sure that signals something about me that I actually probably don't want to signal, and I'm not gonna cut it out because you learn from your mistakes. But I actually do. There's like a part of me that's like, man, maybe we should cut that part out. Am I like just a Okay, anyway, doesn't matter. People think that their website should be this thing where it's like, oh, I'm gonna hand you this thing. It's gonna be I did this, I crushed it. The last 2 years I was crushing it, and all this other stuff. And that's a very easy way to write. It is so much, dude. How much harder is it to write for like when you have to like face it outward to somebody else?
You got to understand them instead of understand yourself.
Yeah.
It's impossible.
It's impossible. But you can do some litmus tests on this, by the way, too. And all you have to do is actually in emails, especially if you're sending out a newsletter to someone, it tracks for the website too. Just do a search for I space so that you know every time you wrote I did something or we space did something. If it's more than like 4 per email where you're trying to actually convince someone something, you've way overshot it. Like Jack's emails are a little different because they're supposed to be sort of like off the cuff and they are. It's like very framed around how Jack speaks. But like for the most part, like if there's more than 2, if you have more than 1 we on your site, you have too many. And if you should have no eyes, hopefully, unless you run some kind of like solo camp. But like but do that and then think you say, okay, we run great activities. Okay, who cares? But if you want to rewrite that, you should say like what how would you rewrite that for K&E? It's like we spend no sorry I just did it every day. Kids find an activity that's going to challenge them and at least a couple that they know and love or something like that, right? Like trying to signal that it's a little choice and it's a little schedule, right? But do you think, does that track? It seems like very easy to me to do that, but man, some of these websites are just so we laden, it's crazy.
Well, coming out of the nonprofit space, there's just like tons of research on when you're writing donor letters, like asking for donations, the like amount of dollars that come in per send goes up based on the number of yous in the email as opposed to the number of I's in the email or we's in the email. Because what you're trying to do is you're trying to make the donor the main character of the story. You're trying to make them the hero because they're the ones that you're trying to do. And camp parents aren't donors, but they are the main character of the story. They're the ones choosing camp for their kids, or the kids are the main character of the story. Some combination of the two of them. And so the more we help them see themselves as opposed to like looking how great we are, it's it goes a long way. And by the way, it's what most of us do when we meet people in real life. It's like if you just showed up to a party and all you did was talk about yourself, everyone would be like, dude, why don't you take a walk? But if you show up
Dude,
and be
most
like,
people
hey,
do that though. Come on. Like most people you think about it, but I don't know. I went and did a poker night the other night with a bunch of guys that I didn't know. Everyone walked out of there with not one piece of information from me. And by the way,
but
no one asked.
and by the way,
Like,
they thought you, I guarantee they thought you were the greatest guy around. All of them just going home being like, dude, that guy Doug is great. Meanwhile, all you did was go, whoa, tell me more about that.
oh, we're on
Hey,
hour 2 of water treatment facilities. That's pretty cool, I guess. Like I wasn't aware that I needed like this much information on water treatment, but like randomly two guys did that there, which was weird. But like or just was an odd subgroup. But yeah, I walked out of there. I was like, huh. Personally, I don't care. Like I'm paid to listen, so I'm fine listening. This is like the one chance where Jack has to listen to me. But but it is like it's this. I don't even remember why we talk. Why did we say this about
because
the
you're trying
oh
to
if you
make
go to a party?
if you go to a party, but the tricky part of doing this on our website is that they aren't saying things to us. So we can't use all of the normal active listening stuff. And we have to make
Yeah.
some guesses about what's going on. And that's the hard part about writing copy like this. So anyway, the AI hack here from this is go to your website and see, ask it how much are you saying we or centering camp as the main character of the story, and just start there. From that readout, you can start going back and forth and ask it, okay, what would Sean Purry or Seth Godin or pick any other people that do this like this kind of writing really well? How would they reframe this stuff? And it'll give you some ideas. And some of it'll sound cheesy, and you're gonna have to change it around. I want to really caveat this on AI is great for this back and forth style of writing. It is so bad still at one-shotting. Here's what you should write on your whole front page of the website. You want to go
Yeah,
back and
please.
forth. You want to go back and forth on one sentence. It's awesome. Go back and forth. You're going to get some ideas. You're going to add some things. It's great. You get to a whole like essay or email or whatever. It loses the thread. It's because it's probabilistic, not deterministic. Anyway, we don't have to get into the details on that, but um, get the feedback, because for me, that's what Claude's been best at for me, is like looking at a whole bunch of information, distilling it down to a small amount of information, and giving me some information that I can use, just like the daily brief, which gets turned into my little post-it note.
Yeah, just
Um,
go find those. Like, I think those are like two reasonable things. That, like, well, I think what the whole goal of this thing is just going to be reasonable things that you can do relatively. I mean, the rewriting a website is a lot of work, right? So this is like a step by step approach to it. But the whole thing here, and really what we're trying to do on Substack too, is like what are reasonable, quick things you can put in place that will actually move the needle. By the way, we've tried a bunch of quick things, and like some things don't move the needle. I don't know. Like there's just no other way to to test, iterate, and just kind of move on. But the whole goal of like writing this, sometimes I do think that I'll end on that. I think sometimes, at least my short-termish view on camp things, is that like camp people are great about talking like sort of the big ideas that like need to happen in the industry and all this stuff. And I'm not sure it always gets all the way down into that sounds great. Like, what should I do now? Like, agreed, we should do this thing. But what's like the next little thing? I'm not sure we see enough of that. Do you agree with that, Tate? We can get out of here after this. Your response to this.
yeah, I think what you're saying is, I think we live at two levels and don't connect them. We either live at 3,000 feet or 3 feet. And when we're at 3 feet, it's like we're solving the email problem right in front of us, but not building the system that makes getting back to these people easier. Or we live at
Yeah.
30,000 feet or 3,000 feet, where we're like, yeah, more kids should come to camp and camp should be good. And it's
Right.
like, yeah, I'm in. I'm in on all that. And I'm guilty.
Agreed.
By the way, I couldn't be more guilty of this. Like I love talking about the like big picture view of camp and how AI is going to impact education and whatever. And sometimes I'm like, Jack, shut up. What
Yeah.
can I
Yeah.
do to get more kids to camp? What can I do to make camp 1% better? And that's where sometimes I got to live. Speaking of which, Doug, you've been
Yeah.
yelling at
Go.
me about this. Go walk around camp and see the stuff that you take for granted.
Oh yeah, dude. Okay, we have to get at it. We have a time limit here. Let me just say this real fast. This one on the walking around camp. This is people get too used to rejamming this at the end, but people. If you work at your camp, almost for sure you take extreme granted like what is happening, or like not granted. You just it's no it's white noise to you. It's like yeah, dude, the dining hall, get it? Obviously. Oh, there's like this is where trash always collects. Okay, great. You know what I mean? Like I have to go over here to pick up trash, or like here's whatever. Like there's 50 million spots. This is like my old camp was the fork in the road, right? It's like the fork in the everyone knew the fork because it was someone would hold a fork and it was a fork in the road. You take that for granted. People about your camp love that stuff and they love to hear about it. And the reason I know is because we've done a few tests on writing about some super mundane stuff from people and it absolutely crushes because people are like, I remember that because they don't see it. They're not there. They don't see it every day like you. Pick out some easy mundane stuff that you do or that you remember or that you want people to notice about the camp and literally just write about that thing. And it seems so boring. This is really for alumni and current families and not for probably new prospects. But going into the mundane, boring thing, we wrote a whole post about this on Substack, going and finding some mundane stuff and just telling why it matters. I'll use the fork in the road. We've never done this one, but like the fork in the road, it's like, oh, I just remember going onto the fork in the road and having to make the decision if I was gonna, if I was gonna get pointed down here to park or if I was going to the left because that meant I was registering. You know, it's like, okay, great, everyone remembers that story. That's awesome. Like people love that stuff. So do not be afraid to put out the boring stuff. It's a little harder for every camp, but I'm telling you, alumni eat it up. They love it. It's like why they love camp.
I wonder, we haven't done this. I wonder, the prompt you could put into Claude to be like, hey, how specific is my website? And, it would take me 3 minutes to get back and forth with Claude to say, hey, help me build the prompt. You're going to look at my website and here's the fork in the road example from this YouTube that, Doug just talked about. Help me find these on my website. Am I a 1 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10? And then you can, start looking at that stuff. Doug, we're about to get out of here. What's really quick, what's one thing that you're not sure about, but you're trying right now with your Claude?
What's one thing I'm not sure about? This is the put me on the spot here. What's one thing I'm not? This so you say the question back, so I give myself time to think. What's one thing I'm not sure about? Say it one more time, so I have time to think.
So
Go again.
what's on the edge of what you're trying to do, but you haven't quite figured out how to pull it off. You're like, I
Oh, okay,
think.
yeah, I got it. I got it. So I right now, this is like I don't know how nerdy this is. I have a Mac Mini running in the side, like that's running in the. I have my own computer, and then I have a Mac Mini that I can remote into. Which Mac Mini is just like a little computer, that sits on your desk, and I can remote into it. And I'm using that to run everything in the background. Like I don't really want anything running on my Mac. I'm convinced that this Mac Mini can do so much more than I have it doing right now. I know it can, and I'm on the incremental steps to getting there. Does that make sense? So I'm like, it should be running. I should be one-shotting prompts into this to cure all the things that we're trying to do, and then walking away and like going and sitting by the beach or something. And I'm not there yet. Is that a good example? Like,
How
but
many
I
weeks?
believe
How
that
many weeks? How many weeks are we away from you being able to tell us how to set up our Mac Minis?
Well, I can tell you how to set it up right now. That one I can tell you how to
But
set
like
it up
to
right now.
make it useful. Like how many weeks are you away from being like, this is how you should set it up, and here's how it's going to be useful?
Oh, okay. I'm telling you right now. I could. It's useful now. What I'm saying, like, it's useful for me now. Like, I'm running things on it when I don't have my computer open that I can just remote in and say, whisper flow it or type it in and say, hey, do this thing in the background. That one right now. What I'm saying is, I need it one step away from it's running automatically off of different things. Like where I do not even need to prompt it of the things I want it to do. Like there's a few other higher level marketing pieces that I don't have it set up for. So I don't know if that's a good answer. But right now, if we schedule a call right now, I can set you up on it now. Sync all your local folders, connect it to it, make sure it's running, make sure it's running a different co-work instance, move all your projects over to it, get it going in the background, being able to remote in from your computer so you're not crushing the battery on your computer all the time. We could do that now. That one, I don't know. Is that a good enough answer?
Absolute banger. Listen, this has been another episode of a talk from camp, and we went deep on some very specific stuff on setting up your own little Mac Mini. You're gonna want to do that later. Doug's got more information on that. Walking around camp, what can you see? Write more about from the perspective of your target audience. Less we's, less I's, less us, and more about you. And every morning, how do you get a daily brief that's like, hey, this is the stuff you got to work on, and you can get it to a post-it note so you can stay old school like me.
One thing I wish Claude could prompt is the air conditioning into my office because I was able to not die because if I could write a one step prompt for putting the air conditioner back in my office so I didn't die because it's 150 degrees in here, I would have done that. All right, take it easy, everybody.
Bye, y'all.